dangerous visit. One evening, a strange woman came to the palace. She wore a red wrapper and carried a basket of herbs. "I have come to bless the princess with herbs to make her stronger," she said. The guards allowed her in. She smiled at Mmirioma. "You saved us all. Take these herbs. They will help your dreams." Mmirioma thanked her. But that night, after drinking the tea made from the herbs, she had the worst dream of her life. She was in a burning river, surrounded by snakes. Her belly was large. Inside her womb, she could feel something moving, not a baby, but a creature with sharp teeth. She woke up screaming. The next morning, the woman was gone. And the guards did not remember letting anyone in. The confession of the priest. Dibia Okiko returned again, this time shaking. "I dreamt of Awele," he said. She was whispering to the trees. She said the light in this palace is too bright and must be put out. "She's dead," Obina said. "But her master is not," the priest replied. Mmirioma looked up. "Igio." "Yes. The oldest witch. She will come for your soul. I will be ready." The gathering of light. Mmirioma went into the forest and knelt by a sacred tree. She sang a song no one had heard before. She called on her ancestors. She poured white chalk on the ground. She summoned the 7 spirits of the hills, old protectors of truth. They appeared as shadows in the sunlight. "We gave you power," they said. "But you must never let fear enter your heart." "Fear is trying," she said. "But I will fight." "Then take this," they said, and gave her a staff made from lightning wood. "This is your new voice." As Mmirioma walked back to the palace with the staff glowing in her hand, the wind changed direction. Birds returned to trees. A calmness moved across the land. But far away, in a swamp of bones, Igio watched through a black mirror. "You carry a staff now, girl," she said, her voice like smoke. "But soon, I will carry your soul." The war had just begun. The morning sun rose quietly over Umuaka, casting soft golden light through the trees. Birds sang again, and the river whispered peacefully. Children laughed in the distance, and smoke curled from kitchens where women boiled yam and stirred palm oil soup. But in the palace, Princess Mmirioma was not at peace. She stood by the window of her chamber, staring into the forest. Her hand gripped the lightning staff tightly. Her heart beat slower than normal. Her eyes, usually so alive, were dim and heavy. The visions had returned. This time, they were not about the land. They were about her unborn child. A secret growing inside. Mmirioma had not told Prince Obina yet. But she was with child. The first signs came a week after her visit to the sacred tree: sharp nausea, dizziness, hunger for bitter leaves. She knew. Her body knew. The spirits whispered it before the moon confirmed it. She was carrying the future prince or princess of Umuaka. Yet the joy in her heart was not complete. Because each time she closed her eyes, she saw 2 futures. In one, she held a baby with golden skin and eyes like Obina's, and the land was filled with peace. In the other, she wept on a cold stone as a black fog took her baby from her arms, laughing as it disappeared into the bush. And each time, she felt a hand near her belly in the dream, not her own. Cold. Long fingers. Familiar. She knew whose hand it was. Igio's. The return of the mirror man. The same night Mmirioma decided to tell the prince, a new visitor arrived at the palace gates. He wore a black cloak with a hood. He held a box under his arm. His face was pale. He spoke softly. "I come to deliver a gift to the princess," he said. The guard stopped him. "What gift?" He opened the box. Inside was a mirror, small, oval, with carvings of strange snakes around the edges. The glass shimmered as if it had a heartbeat. "I was told to give this to her and say, she must choose what she wants to see, truth or comfort." When the prince was told, he rushed to the gate, but the man had vanished. No footprints. No trail. Nothing. Just the mirror box on the ground. The mirror's lies. Mmirioma touched the mirror once, and it glowed blue. She held it and stared deep into it. Suddenly, her reflection changed. She saw herself dressed like a whale, rich, painted, worshipped by hundreds. People bowing. Gold at her feet. Even Obina in chains, kissing her hands. Her child was on a throne of skulls. She dropped the mirror, shaking. What is this? Then a voice spoke from the mirror. See what you could become if you stop being weak. You gave them peace. What did they give you? Whispered mockery. Fake smiles. You deserve more. Mmirioma screamed and threw the mirror into the fire. It did not burn. Days passed, and Mmirioma grew weaker. Not physically, but spiritually. Her dreams were darker. Her visions came blurry. Her staff's light flickered. She began to hear strange sounds in her sleep, women crying, babies laughing, trees whispering her name backwards. She tried to pray. But the words felt empty. She tried to fast. But the hunger only grew stronger. She began to hear voices in the palace walls. Stop protecting them, one said. They do not love you, said another. You are wasting your power, whispered a third. The palace had become a whispering cage. The Queen Mother's visit. One morning, an unexpected visitor entered the palace, the Queen Mother herself, Obina's mother, who had not stepped foot in Umuaka for 2 years. She was tall and regal, with silver in her hair and fire in her eyes. She greeted Mmirioma with a smile too sharp to be kind. I came to see the new bride, she said. You saved us all, but can you keep us safe? Mmirioma bowed respectfully. Mama, with the gods beside me, I will try. The old woman said. You remind me of another woman, beautiful, gifted, until her beauty brought us close to death. She left without touching food or drink. That night, Mmirioma dreamed of a woman with silver hair standing beside Igeo, whispering to the moon. She woke up gasping. Can the prince's own mother be part of this darkness? Obina begins to change. Prince Obina, once gentle and trusting, began to change too. He became quiet. Distracted. Quick to anger. He began leaving the palace at night without saying where he was going. He returned with scratches on his chest, dust in his hair, and eyes that no longer looked at her the same way. One night, she followed him. She trailed him into the forest, staff in hand, silent as wind. She saw him enter a small hut built from mud and bones. Inside, fire danced. Shadows moved. And then, she saw him kneel. To Igeo. The possession begins. Igeo's plan was working. She couldn't defeat Mmirioma from outside. So she entered the one heart that loved her most. Obina. His dreams were poisoned. His mind clouded. He began to forget what Mmirioma had done for the kingdom. He began to doubt her visions. She's hiding something, he told the elders. She may become what Awele became, he said in the market. Whispers spread like wildfire. Mmirioma felt the walls closing in. The visit to the Cave of Ice. Desperate for answers, Mmirioma journeyed to the Cave of Ice, a sacred place where truth lived. Only seers and kings could enter. The walls were covered in glowing eyes that blinked without faces. She placed her staff in the center of the cave and cried, "Show me what is hidden." The eyes blinked faster. The walls echoed with one word, betrayal. She saw the Queen Mother handing over a ring to Igeo. She saw Obina, hands tied, spirit asleep, kneeling before Igeo. She saw her unborn child, tied between two spirits, one bright, one dark, fighting for its soul. She fell to her knees and wept. The spirit spoke again. You have 3 choices, Mmirioma. 1. Flee the land, raise the child far away, and leave. 2. Stay and lose the child, but save the kingdom again. 3. Fight Igeo with full power, but you may lose both the child and your soul. Mmirioma stood slowly. She wiped her tears, held her staff, and whispered, "Let the battle begin." The winds changed on the morning of the sacred market day. They came not from the east or west, but from deep within the ground, cold and strange. The leaves on the trees trembled. The chickens refused to crow. And in the royal palace of Umuaka, Princess Mmirioma sat on the floor, eyes closed, hands on her stomach, her spirit sinking into silence. She was 5 months pregnant. Her body had grown fuller, but her spirit was thinner than ever. The dreams had become stronger. The mirror had returned, uninvited, on her bed. Her staff, once bright, now dimmed between her fingers. She felt the world tilting. Something was pushing its way into her soul. And it was no longer just Awele outside. Whispers in her womb. She woke one night to a strange movement in her belly. Not a kick. Not a turn. A tug. Like something inside her was reaching up, not just into her ribs, but into her mind. She gasped. Then came the voice. A soft, innocent voice. Like a child's whisper. Mama. Her heart softened. But the voice continued, Mama, let me out early. Mmirioma froze. What? I want to be born before time. I want to see her, the woman of the dark tree. She is waiting. Mmirioma placed her hand on her belly and screamed a prayer, Ogban spirits, I bind you. You will not dwell in this child. Her prayer echoed, but her womb remained hot. Obina's disappearance. At dawn, Prince Obina was missing. His bed was cold. His staff of kinship was gone. His crown had been left on the floor, broken. Mmirioma called for the guards. No one had seen him. She touched the floor beside his pillow and saw a vision, Obina, dressed in white, walking barefoot into the forest of silence. Behind him, black shadows danced, calling him son. He was under a spell again. But this time, he wasn't alone. He was going to complete the covenant. The gathering of the elders. Mmirioma summoned the 7 royal elders and the priests. They came with frowns, suspicion in their eyes. She knelt before them. My husband, the prince, is lost in a spiritual war. I must go after him. But I need you to keep the land safe. Old Chief MBA scratched his grey beard. A woman will leave the palace and chase a prince through the forest. This is not a play. Another elder said, you have already brought enough trouble with your powers. Maybe the gods are angry with you. But Dibia Okiko rose. Let her go. The child she carries is not just a prince. He is the future of Umuaka. Some scoffed. Others whispered. But permission was granted. The journey into the dark tree. With nothing but her lightning staff and a white wrapper tied firmly above her stomach, Mmirioma left the palace. She walked alone through the market square, past the stream, and into the forest path no one dared to use, the one that led to Awele's tree. The path was quiet at first. But soon, voices began calling her. Turn back. Leave the prince. Give us the child. Every branch she touched turned to ash. Every bird she passed went silent. She reached the tree just before nightfall. There, Obina knelt, eyes white, mouth open, hands bleeding from torn wounds. And standing over him was Awele, more terrible than ever. Awele's offer. Awele smiled when she saw Mmirioma. Oh. The river girl. The child mother. The stubborn light. Mmirioma raised her staff. Leave my husband. Leave my child. And go back to the pit where you came from. But Awele only laughed. You still think this is about you? You think light wins by shouting? Let me show you something. She touched the tree, and it opened like a mouth. Inside was a vision, hundreds of unborn children, floating in glass orbs, crying without sound. These are the seeds of stolen kingdoms, Awele said. Each one was a king or queen before I turned their hearts. She pointed at Mmirioma's belly. That one would be my greatest. The test of the flame. Awele waved her hand, and a fire circle surrounded them. Obina screamed and disappeared into the tree. Now, Mmirioma, she said, If you walk through that flame with truth in your heart, you'll pass. But if there's even one lie inside you, the fire will consume both you and the baby. Mmirioma's heart pounded. She stepped forward. The fire licked her wrapper, her skin, her face. Pain. Deep pain. But she did not stop. Each step was a prayer. A cry. A battle. Until she reached the tree. And then the fire went out. Obinna was lying there, unconscious. She had passed the test. But Ijio was not done. You may have freed him, she said, rising into the air, but the child is still mine. Suddenly, a storm rose. Wind howled. The tree shook. Mmirioma held her stomach and fell. Ijio reached for her. But from the sky, a bolt of blue light struck the ground. The spirit of Adis, the first queen of Umuaka, rose from the earth. You dare touch her, she said. Ijio screamed and vanished into a cloud of black crows. They returned home. Obinna awoke 2 days later, confused but healed. He touched Mmirioma's face. I saw her in my dreams. I thought she would save us. Mmirioma smiled weakly. You did not know? But now, we fight together. They returned to the palace. The people celebrated. But Mmirioma knew. The final battle had not yet come. Inside her, the child was growing. But so was the war for its soul. The wind changed again. This time, it carried the scent of rain, not ordinary rain, but ancestral rain. The kind that came with lightning from nowhere, thunder with no sound, and clouds that wept even under sunlight. It was a strange season. And it came with one message. The child was ready. Signs in the sky. The people of Umuaka looked to the skies and saw what they had never seen before. A rainbow appeared without rain. A bright star circled the village at night. Birds began building nests on rooftops. Pregnant women gave birth before their time. The old Dibia shook his head. The heavens are preparing for something. Either a god or a demon is about to be born. In the palace, Mmirioma knew it too. Her stomach felt like it carried fire. She had stopped eating. Her feet were swollen. Her eyes burned like coal. Each night she dreamed of a child with 2 faces, one smiling like a sun, the other crying blood. And the mirror would return on its own. Each time she threw it away, it would appear again, under her pillow, inside her wrapper, floating in her bath. The war had entered her womb. A spirit in the walls. Prince Obinna had become fully himself again. The spell was broken after their return from the dark forest. He bathed in the river of purity. He wore white for 3 weeks. He shaved his hair and poured libation. But something still followed him. He would hear a woman singing behind the palace walls. He would hear his name whispered from the ceiling. Obinna. Obinna, come back to the tree. He told Mmirioma. She held his hands. She is not done with us. And the moment I give birth, she will try to take the child. So what do? We fight. The royal midwife refuses. When the pregnancy reached its peak, Mmirioma called for the royal midwife, Mama Okomeka, a woman who had helped birth the last 5 kings. But the old woman refused. I will not enter that room, she said. The gods told me her womb is not ordinary. I will not deliver a spirit child. Other midwives ran away in fear. Only one girl remained. A young orphan named Amarachi, barely 16, who served as a palace cleaner. I will help her, she said. The people laughed. But Mmirioma called her in. And the moment Amarachi touched Mmirioma's stomach, the burning stopped. For the first time in many months, Mmirioma smiled. You have the hands of a helper, she said. And Amarachi became her assistant.